What is going on today? Hip up in the house. Reverse. Okay, today we're gonna be reacting to why being invisible would actually suck. I don't know why being invisible would actually suck. It seems like that would be a great superpower, but we don't know, so that's why we're gonna check it out. Obvious.
The alarm goes off and it's the start of another regular day. Or is it? Something's off.
Pretty
You
average,
feel
regular
different. You get out of bed and with a big yawn and a stretch, you look down at your feet to see nothing.
If you wake up one day and you are in this situation completely invisible, what is your first thing that you're doing? Because me personally, I'm gonna sleep in.
Panic floods through your body as reality starts to hit. You're completely and utterly invisible. And we don't mean the no one likes your funny Instagram posts or the constant left swipes on your dating profile type of invisible.
Oh,
We're
that's
talking
me.
about
That's
totally
me.
imperceptible to the human eye from every angle and at any distance. You can't see your own hand in front of your face. How could this happen? Is it a dream? You look around your room as the initial shock fades. This is awesome! You can do whatever you want. There are no rules.
It's like you turn invisible. You are completely invisible. First thing that you think is no pants day.
Even stroll around the zoo totally naked again. But this time no one would know. Nothing could go wrong.
What do you mean by that?
And you're about to find out why being invisible would actually really suck. You leap out of bed.
That is a whole different AI or guy, voice actor. I don't care. That is a completely different person. Before I was talking to a man named John or something. This guy is named Steven.
That's when the first problem hits you. You might be invisible, but your clothes aren't. Great, you think. Time to adopt that nudist lifestyle Uncle Terry keeps talking about. Peering out the window, you see it's a cold winter's day outside, but that's not going to stop you. You might experience a little shrinkage, but it'll totally be worth it. Imagine the possibilities. You could beat the crap out of a mime, and everyone would just think he's really good at his job.
I actually just pictured it. Editor, I don't know how you're gonna be able to do this, but think of this, a mime.
The freezing air prickles at your skin. You start to shiver, your feet are numb. Without the protection of clothing, it could very easily kill you after enough time. Sure, it wouldn't be instantaneous, but after a few days, perhaps even a week at a temperature that everyone else needs clothes for, things wouldn't be looking good for you. Anything lower than that, like if it started to snow, and you'd only be able to last a few minutes before suffering permanent damage, or even contracting hypothermia.
Wait a minute, I'm just thinking about this now. Put on a jacket, some sweatpants, some shoes, some socks, some gloves, a ski mask, some glasses, and then you're fine.
A little frostbite will be worth the fun of going into people's houses and moving stuff around until they think there's a ghost in there with them. Alright, maybe the nudist life isn't all it's cracked up to be. It turns out clothes have some serious advantages, but no pain, no gain, right? If you want to make this invisibility thing work, you're just gonna have to suck it up and tough it out. But man, you didn't think being invisible would suck this bad this quickly. First, this isn't an episode of Looney Tunes. Even if you were able to use your invisibility to sneak into the bank, you likely wouldn't find much inside the vault. Smaller bank branches in the US will only have around $50,000 on hand.
Even if you do take that cash, can you FBI, open up?
Often much less. And while the bigger sites might have more, it's still a lot to carry out while staying unnoticed. Sure, 50 grand might sound like one heck of a haul for a smaller heist, but it wouldn't be any easier to get your hands on while invisible. And even if you were able to grab the loot, you'll likely encounter another problem, a die pack. In the event of a robbery, if a bundle of cash containing a die pack is taken through bank doors or tampered with, then the die pack will explode, painting you a lovely shade of purple. And you don't want to walk around looking like a human eggplant, but there's gotta be some way to make money with your new superpower, right? You're sitting outside the bank and feeling depressed when you spot it, an ATM. Jackpot!
Yes.
This'll be easy. All you have to do is wait and watch. You'll memorize someone's PIN, then
you
help
just
yourself to a little
mug them.
invisible, nude walking around money. The perfect crime, but bear in mind that the number on its own is pretty useless unless you can get your hands on their physical bank card. Just because you're
that's a good
invisible,
option as well.
it doesn't mean you suddenly develop the skills of a master pickpocket. It turns out most people can feel someone clumsily reaching into their pocket or purse, invisible or not. And a lot of those people's first reaction is to swing. After taking several punches, kicks, and whacks with a handbag, you get lucky and manage to slip someone's wallet out without them noticing. Finally, time to go hit up that ATM and get some cash. This
Into that
invisibility
card
thing was really starting to suck, but finally things are looking up.
See, last time I was invisible, right? I tried that exact same thing, but there was this lady and she tripped me over, then she robbed me, when I was invisible. I don't know how she found my pockets, but
As you turn the corner, a passerby spots a wallet floating down the street. Their first thought is to call for an exorcism. But after the initial shock, they snatch the wallet and run. Some people, huh? You try to run after them, but your shredded feet mean you don't get far. You watch as the thief and your cash disappear into the distance. Now you're invisible and broke. There's only one thing for it. You decide to just steal things outright. You walk into a store and grab the nearest thing that takes your fancy, like a shiny new phone. You smile as you leave the store, the latest iPhone levitating out the door. No one runs after you. No one stops you. Sure, the cashier faints and has to take a mental health day, but it's practically a victimless crime. Then the guilt takes over. No one saw you, but they did see the phone. It won't take long for the police to track down the stolen goods. And the prime suspect isn't going to be a poltergeist, it's going to be your roommate or your family. The smoking gun will be a floating phone. Are you really going to let them face the consequences of your actions? Can you live with that? You can't let them do time for something that you did. This whole invisibility thing is starting to really suck. You're beginning to wish you had never been blessed with this special power at all. You wish people could see you, but now you have a bigger problem, one that would actually have been plaguing you this whole time and is the biggest reason you wouldn't want to be invisible at all. And that's because while no one would be able to see you, you wouldn't be able to see them either. You're struggling to see. The way human sight functions is light hitting objects, and that light is being picked up by your retina and then interpreted by your brain into images of the world around us. But now you're invisible, so where's that light going to go? Your retinas are a part of your body which has now vanished. So that light is likely to pass directly through your head and right past you. Without the light hitting your retinas, your brain has nothing it can interpret as an image. Being unable to see is going to make navigating your way around difficult, while not impossible to do through the use of sound. That in and of itself is a skill that takes time to master. You start to stumble along the sidewalk, banging into things as your vision fades.
honestly, he's just like, get one of those VR headsets. Get one of those, pop one of those on, and then you'll be able to see just fine.
As you try to find your way home, you start to think about your family and friends. How will they know I'm here, you wonder? They might think you decided to cut them out of your life, or you ran away, or even worse, you're dead. Your landlord will rent out your bedroom to a new tenant, not realizing that you're still living there. On the plus side, you get a new roommate. You're all alone. You're going to be living an isolated existence. All those interactions with other people that you took for granted, the kind of socialization that human beings need in order to remain psychologically healthy, it would be gone. Even if your friends could hear you, they're going to be freaked out when your disembodied voice starts talking to them. They'll never look you in the eye again. You start to hobble home, desperate for some company, but the sidewalk is like a minefield. People barge into you, dogs seemingly bark at nothing. You try to cross the road, but that's like running the gauntlet. Drivers don't slow down, narrowly missing you. A bus nearly takes you out. One misstep and you'll be an accident hidden from view. Any car traveling down what they think is an empty street could easily hit you and likely wouldn't even know. Checking their mirrors, a driver wouldn't see anything and would probably assume it was a pothole or a small animal they hit, driving off and leaving you injured and at risk of being hit by other vehicles. An invisible bump in the road. The same would be the case if you died on the street. Sure, pedestrians might trip on your body, but they wouldn't know you were lying there. If you were bleeding out while invisible, someone would probably assume that your blood had been left behind by someone else and that whatever body it had come from had already been moved. Someone cleaning the sidewalk could even come and hose it away, not realizing you were still laying on the sidewalk.
You know, this might not be a top 10 superpower. Hit the like and subscribe button.